You're so fake. Good morning once again, and thank you for staying tuned to Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV. Welcome to our views, and in this segment we have real-life conversations that affect our everyday life. Now, just see, the thing about life is that things don't always happen as you want them to happen, and things don't happen at the exact time that you'd want them to happen. A big part of our life is having to wait. Now, there's a difference, a very big difference, a very big distinction between being patient and wasting your time. And today we are going to try and unravel this conundrum. In studio with me is Priva Elibaz and Age Uwase. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Sarah.
Now, ladies, for a very long time, if not, this has been the soundtrack of my entire existence, not knowing when I'm being patient and when I'm wasting my time. So, are you able to tell the difference?
It's a very strange thing, yeah? Especially for us as Christians, you know, when you're a Christian, they tell you you must persevere, you must be resilient.
That is a dangerous word.
The Bible tells you that. But your pastor will tell you that. Your friend will tell you that. I've told you that. Yes, be patient. You know, be resilient. Keep going. So it's very hard to actually figure out the distinction between both, whether you're being patient or wasting your time. You are most likely wasting your time, but you're just scared of, you know, making that decision and saying, you know what, it's time for me to move on to something else. Let me go and face something else. Let me try something else out. This is not working. Otherwise, you know you're wasting your time, but you're fearful that the moment you decide to take on something else, it may be the time that what you should have been patient for actually works out. So I think for me, that's where it's hard to actually, tell the difference. Yeah.
Okay. I think, well, you can actually tell the difference between when you're wasting time and when you're being patient.
How?
And the reason I say this is, okay, let's put it in the workplace setting. If you feel that there's, okay, I'll just give an example. Have you ever, well, you've not probably been in those situations, but I know of people who have got their jobs after about like 5 years of volunteering or, you know, being an intern somewhere. And while you are interning at this workplace, you're getting the experience, you're getting the skills. You know that every time you're applying, I know of a lady who applied like about 3 times while she was actually interning in that company, but she never got the opportunity until like the 4th time. So that was someone being patient because she was actually being hands-on, you know, learning the skills, learning how the job operates, and also networking with the people, you know, who could help her in one way or another in that job. And how to know that you're wasting time is if you want that particular job, but you're at home, seated, sleeping, you're only applying, and then after that, you know, wallowing in self-pity because you're not able to get the job. I think that is wasting time. But for someone who is already doing something, adding value to their life, they are patient, and maybe they are hoping that something good is going to happen for them. But on the other hand, you may not be able to put a distinction, especially if you like in the relationship kind of thing. Situation, you see this man is telling you, yes, next year, you know, it's next year we are getting married. You've been asking for that dream. You probably have 2 kids with this man, and he hasn't even tried to make it official, but he's always, you know, telling you next year we are going to make it work. And then you realize, like, he's not even doing anything about it. He's not planning. He's telling you we are going to do it, but he's not planning. Like, you're not even sitting on the table and seeing how you can make it work, how it can happen next year. So that is when you know you're wasting your time.
You know, Priva did mention the Bible, and she said that patience in the Bible is all about perseverance as well. But for me, I feel like that is a very tricky thing, especially when somebody tells me keep on being passive. Go on and be, you know, and be persistent and, you know, persevere. For me, you're in other words telling me to suffer. And I don't like to suffer. Why should we suffer?
You know why I mentioned the Bible? I mentioned the Bible because of the story of Job. The story of Job pisses me off so much. I'm a Christian, but it pisses me off. Because how is an upright man, never done anything wrong, is in line with God, is doing everything God wants, but just because Satan requested for some time to inflict pain and see if he's going to still profess God's name, and the man was suffering for how many years? So many years, lost all his children, lost all his livestock, and still being patient and resilient. I hate that story, but yeah, that's why I say the story. It's very, it stems from the Bible.
Well, the definition of patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. Now, that is a virtue in itself, and that's something that I lack as an individual. It's a skill that I lack. While wasting time refers to idleness or lack of motion or energy. That means you're basically goofing off or engaging in an idle pastime while neglecting obligations, or procrastination, avoidance of doing a task, and running out on the clock, and in sports, or stalling or playing with the purpose of allowing time to expire. You're basically, so difference is, patience is that you are more or less basically doing something else to take your mind off of that thing that you're wasting, you're waiting on. While on the other hand, wasting time is when you are not doing anything in that time that you are waiting. Okay, so that is where the difference is. So have you ever been in a position where your patience has been tested and you almost gave up, but then it eventually worked out?
I think these are like daily things that happen every once in like every now and then. Have I been in a position where my patience has been tested? Definitely, so many times. And it's interesting to talk about. Honestly, if I'm to give you examples, you wouldn't.
No, you could actually.
Just give us an example.
No, you it wouldn't make sense, you guys. Like, I wouldn't say that on air, but I promise, you know, to share with you once we're off air. But for sure, definitely, I've been tested and tried. And patience is not my strongest virtue, but I'm working on it.
Well, yeah, patience is elusive. Those people who are lucky enough to find it, it's a good thing. For some people, I feel like it's innate. I'm going to answer Sarah's question, but my mom, I think, is one of the most patient people on planet. And you know, she's always telling you, "What's be patient?" You know, and you call her like, "Mommy, I'm trying this, I'm doing this, it's not working out." She's like, "Yeah, be patient. You hang in there for as long as you're putting in the work, it's going to work out." Has my patience been tested? Yes, it was. It has been. Especially like in my relationships, it has been tested. In work, it has been tested. Yes, I don't want to think there's someone on this planet that hasn't had their patience tested. Maybe unless you are a very virtuous person, then there you can say that. So yeah, I've been tested as well. I won't give my examples. But yes, they are there. But they are there.
Well, I would personally say I'm a very impatient, patient person. Do you understand?
50-50.
I wait for things to unravel or unfold in the, you know, organically, but I am very impatient while I am patiently waiting, if that makes sense. For instance, when you put into an investment, or you apply for the job and you're waiting for the, you know, the call back, and it's not coming, and they said, "We'll call you tomorrow." They don't call tomorrow. They say, "Oh wait, we're still reviewing your application." In that process, I am going through all the emotions of anxiety. I am dying and resurrecting. I am crying. I'm already giving up. You understand? You say, "You know what, there will be other jobs." You understand? I'm a very impatient person while I'm waiting, but it's something that I am, you know, trying to learn, and also to, I'll give an example. Even in our relationships, you understand? So for instance, when your boyfriend or your bae tells you, "You know what, I'm going to call you later in the day with tomorrow's plans," and now you are stressed out, you are anxious, you are even now starting to discourage yourself and say, "You know what, even if he doesn't call, it's okay. I did not die. I cannot die. We shall not die." You understand?
You're dying inside of you.
And yet you're dying on the inside. So what are some of the mechanisms that you have applied in your life to help you patiently wait? Because waiting is keeping yourself occupied in the moment while you allow things to organically unfold. So what are some of the mechanisms that you apply to help yourself keep calm?
Honestly, I'll be very honest with you. Yes, I was talking about the story of Job and how much it pisses me off, but I'm still going to be the same person that tells you that I will pray in case of any uncertainty. I mean, that's the only place you can get answers, you guys. Otherwise, you will just, you know, be stressed out. The patience won't work. You'll be very frustrated, and we all know what that leads to, because you're not even being productive at whatever you're doing. That same thing that you're in, that you feel like, you know, you're being impatient about.
Yes.
You're not even going to, you know, give it your best shot or give it 100%. So for me, I think prayer helps you keep going, gives you that hope, gives you the faith that things can be better. For me, that's a coping mechanism that I have. But also with prayer, you have to be patient 10 times. Yeah, because these things don't happen
over time.
Yeah, today you talk to God, you're like, God, but I need this money tomorrow, and you think it's going to be on your bank account. No, it requires you changing your manners, reading the Bible, praying more, doing things rightly for you to actually succeed in one or another. So for me, I think it would be prayer as a coping mechanism of how you can be patient, even in situations that require you not to be patient at all.
Yes. Well, for me, I think I have 3. One of them is I always talk to my mom, just like I mentioned earlier, most patient person, because you want that person who will still, tell you, keep going, keep moving. She gives you all her, experiences, things that she has had to go through, and be patient, and things eventually worked out. So yeah, that keeps you grounded, and you're like, well, maybe there is, light at the end of the tunnel. And the other person, not the other person, okay, I should have started. The first person is God. That is the first person. And I relate with what Priva said. For me, honestly, it's about God. Like, I talk to him about anything and everything. He's like a friend to me, honestly. Much as it might not sound realistic, but it is. Because I feel like most of the things that have happened in my life, the good things, it's because of him. When you've prayed for something, you are working towards it. You want this job so bad. You want this opportunity so bad. And you take it to God in prayer. And eventually it works out. It might take some time. But like it kind of helps you. And there are these verses in the Bible that talk about patience, that talk about resilience. Well, you said you don't like resilience, but yes, somehow they keep you grounded, because it's very easy to break down any minute when you want something so bad and it's not happening. When you see things falling apart in your life, it's very easy to break down and resort, to any other coping mechanisms, like going to the bar, like taking drugs. That happens all the time to multiple people. So yes, at least being in a church, going for prayer, that keeps me in check. And the other thing is, I think that I found it like about 2 years ago, I just go on YouTube and watch videos of people, who talking about their experiences, about patience and how they've had to, I don't want to talk about battling through things. I mean, Sarah talked about that's a lot of suffering. Why are we suffering? Why do we have to suffer? Yes. But it's a part of life. That is a part of life that we can never run away from. It will always be there. So yes, I watch people's, stories, experiences, and in the moment, in the minute, I kind of, if I didn't have appetite, I'll get some appetite, to eat food, and that happens over and over again, until whatever I'm looking out for, happens. So
Well, patience is a very important virtue, and patience can transform our relationships, all up interpersonal relationships with your colleagues, with your spouse, with your loved ones, with your family, whatever the case may be. And it can help you avoid becoming irritated, defensive, and saying hurtful things. Actually, when you are impatient in the moment, you actually take away from yourself. It actually beats down on your mental health, and on top of that, you start to think ugly thoughts about the other person you are waiting on. So like I gave an example earlier, your loved one or your spouse says, I'm going to call you later with plans for the next day, and now you're becoming very impatient, and now in your mind you're starting to insult them and create scenarios that will never happen, that are not happening, and now you get paranoid, and now it puts you in a position where you're going to cause problems that were not there. So patience can also help slow you down and prevent hasty and selfish decisions. Patience helps you in developing the critical, or rather crucial, relationship skill of empathy, understanding the other person's position. That is the ability to understand life from the perspective of another person. So here are some steps to practice patience while you wait, and this is to you if you're impatiently waiting for whatever it is you have asked God for. Number 1 is practice mindfulness and be in the present moment without judging. Be present in this moment. They have asked you to wait. Okay, so while you wait, find something else to, distract you. I mean, do laundry, cook, read a book, watch TV, take a nap, okay, while you are waiting. And number 2 is practice accepting your current situations. While you are waiting, be patient in that moment. You have just applied for that job, applied for that loan, and you're waiting for the call back. Accept the current situation you are in right now, and do not what is the thing? What's the word? When you're trying to, it's not anticipate the future. Not anticipate the future. What's the word? Do not make assumptions of what the outcome is going to be.
Preempting.
Thank you. That's the word. Do not preempt accept the moment and situation that you are in, and you're in the situation of waiting. So wait, okay? And number 3, actively build a tolerance for being a bit uncomfortable. I understand that being patient and waiting can be very uncomfortable because you want the results now, eh? Now. You get, and that's not how life works, okay? Number 4 is when you're feeling rushed, consciously slow yourself down. Okay? When you're feeling anxious about the future, consciously slow yourself down and keep on telling yourself to wait and wait. And number 5 is be playful in the moment. Okay, enjoy, find yourself, literally it's in the tip, be playful.
Fake positivity, eh?
Fake positivity, you know. Now
sometimes it can be good.
Yeah, the fake positivity.
So now, ladies, I'd like you to share a few tips on how someone would know that they are wasting their time.
I like
it. Could be say a job you're chasing. It could be a potential partner you're chasing. It could be a lifestyle you're chasing. When do you know you are wasting time, and when is it time to just, you know, leave it to God and keep it pushing?
Take it to God in prayer. Okay, let me start with if it's at the work, if you're looking for a job.
Yes.
And maybe they're not even taking you in as an intern. Okay, let's say they take you in as an intern, and they're not helping you in any way.
Yes.
You're walking to your supervisor, you're asking for work, he's not giving you work. You're asking for guidance, he's not giving you guidance. You're asking around people, no one is willing to help you. So you're just there, seated, you don't know what to do. You do that today, tomorrow, the other day, you're just wasting time. Then clearly you're wasting time.
Yes.
How about you try to find opportunities somewhere else? And let's say in a relationship, they talk about love and relationships, about compromise, tolerance and all that. Yes, it's a good thing to compromise, but you should compromise or tolerate someone who is actually working on their flaws. Not someone who is seated. You're telling this person, this behavior, I don't like what you do. I don't like when you treat me like this. You expect that maybe, okay, we are flawed as human beings, but they are probably willing to work on it. But there's this one who is very adamant. You're telling them over and over again, they don't want to work on it. They're not even making the slightest effort. You are wasting your time. When the situation is stagnant, there you're wasting your time. When the situation is, showing some signs of growth and learning, then there, you're being patient.
All right. Yeah. What about you, Preva?
I think it's you who mentioned it some time back, that you said, like, for you every day you challenge yourself to learn something new. So I mean, I'm going to put it like on a daily basis, but if at the end of the month you haven't learned something new, you haven't picked up something new, then you're wasting time.
Yes.
But then I think we often find ourselves fantasizing about a future that we haven't achieved. Yes, you're thinking about something, you want this to happen, but you haven't achieved it. So for me, I think that's a sign that you're wasting time doing what you're doing, because your mind is actually taking you to a different space. So I think, basically those, in the interest of time.
Exactly. And Priva is very right. All right. She's very right.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Right. Yes, and so is Aki. If you spend more of your time daydreaming, planning, or thinking about the future than actually doing work to bring that future into reality, then you're wasting time. Apply that in your relationships, in your career, family, friends. If you spend more of your time just thinking about it than actually doing it, then you're just wasting time. And that is just it. That is when you know you're wasting time. If you are at work and you're hoping that things are going to change and they're just not changing, and the team that you're working with is not doing anything to change that, then honey, you're wasting time. And it's time to move on.
It's very important. It's very important. When you find yourself living a life that you do not appreciate or you're not happy with, you're living with a violent spouse, you're in a job that you hate so much, you're wasting time.
Exactly. Also, if you have done everything humanely possible to change the situation and it's not changing, and I mean when you have cautiously, you have consulted, you have researched, you have, planned, you have applied plan A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, and it's still not changing, you are wasting time. And honey, it is time to move on. It's a great Monday, and I hope that these tips will help you, change the way you see your work, your life, and your relationships. And I hope it helps you, and I hope we have been able to help you tell the difference between being patient and wasting your time. And that is all we had for you on this segment of Our Views. But you can also leave your comment in the comment section on our social media, that's on Facebook and on Twitter, and let us know how. I just want to know, how do you stay patient while you're waiting? That is all I had for you, but keep watching Sunrise at Sea and don't blink.
Well, we've come to the end of the show. I had a fantastic time. I hope you also had an amazing time, watching us this particular morning. We did have very interesting conversations. We did look at the life of General Eli Tumwine, as well as the barrier arrangements, of course, as communicated by the government. Later on in Twitter Jabs too, I sat down, I actually interviewed Afande Felix Kulaije via Zoom, and he gave us, some insight on what is actually happening, especially with the preparations and the arrangements. First of all, there's going to be a Requiem service, not Mass. He said Mass is for Catholics and not Anglicans. So there's going to be a service at Koloro Ceremonial Grounds. The general public is welcome, yes, but for your own safety, yes, observe the SOPs, because there's not going to be COVID-19 testing there, but at least, carry a mask, some identification. That's all you will need to access the Koloro Ceremonial Grounds as they pray for the fallen general, that is Eli Tumwine. Finally, on our views, the last segment of our show, which I enjoy the most, we did talk about patience vis-a-vis wasting your time, and I think the ladies gave the best insight into this particular topic. And for me, I would just have to beseech you or beg you to actually live in the present. Yeah, you cannot be living in the present at 9 a.m. and you're already thinking, when is this day ending? Trust me, you're going to be unproductive for the rest of the day. So as you go about your daily lives, focus on yourself, prioritize yourself, but then also, be patient with yourself, manage your expectations. It will help you, maneuver this thing that we call life. Well, that's all I had for you this morning on our show. We are going to return tomorrow 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. As usual, the usual girls will be back. Same time, same station, everything. Well, my name is Priva Elibaz. Have yourselves a wonderful morning.